Time for the fishing
Splash.
topic.
Nice.
So, opener, Tim, weather. Things are going crazy.
Yes.
Do you want to start with Z-Man or just do that later? Because I think we just got to jump in. Episode 66. This is 68. So it's just a couple episodes ago, right?
We'll just jump into it because we can. That the Z-Man thing is just kind of like about what we got coming, because of the time of year that we're about to.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Because so for context for everybody, go back and listen to the full episode 66 if you want all of it, because there's too much. I mean, it's like a full hour still of us just talking about the weather, which, by the way.
Yeah,
that is Lawrence. I had to pull that one from YouTube there. That was too good because I think about that every time we talk about the weather, and I was like, I gotta say it.
Nice.
So anyways, you got to go back to episode 66 and listen to the whole thing, but like, we were still getting snow. The ice was thick as could be. People were still ice fishing a month ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
when you look,
go.
So I started doing research about like the different lakes and like what we're looking at and stuff. And there was people a month ago that were saying we are a month out from opener and we're still looking at like 30 inches of ice on certain lakes up north.
What?
They had 30 inches of ice a month ago.
So that is also that helps prove our point even further that we were making in the last episode and why we have to revisit this. We were just like, opener? Dude, there's a really good chance up north is still iced over.
So, yeah, there was some good sun, and a big part of it is when it remains above freezing, even into the nighttime.
Oh.
So it's like it's melting around the clock.
Right, of course.
And then when you get to the day and the sun is just like that much more powerful coming into the summer, that's why it gets hot.
Right.
Yeah. Chaminade, which is like middle of the state, not even that high up.
Yeah, I mean, it's north. I think everything north of St. Cloud is north. Like St. Cloud's the dead center and everything north. But I get what you mean in the grand scheme of things because there are so many bigger destination lakes further north of Chaminade.
Farther up north, yeah.
So that's is that where your baseline is for what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, because Chaminade's like not even quite an hour north of St. Cloud, so we're not that far away from it,
Right.
So that opened, I think it was Tuesday is when the ice went out. Tuesday.
So as the podcast drops, it was like a week ago that thing finally opened up.
Not even. Oh yes, as the podcast drops on Monday, it will be like almost a week.
Yeah,
that the ice went out,
but still not a week. Like,
still not a week. Nope.
And opener's Friday.
It's still
like the podcast drops Monday. Opener is Saturday. Technically,
I think it's Saturday.
Yeah, technically it's Saturday,
which is like Friday night. The hardcore fishermen will be out there at midnight.
Right. I think I couldn't find that, but I think you're right.
I see people do it all the time. I'm not that guy.
Right.
I'd rather just get up early and go Friday morning instead of just being like, I'm going to be the first one to go out at midnight and fish for walleye. Like I'll get up in the morning. Like, plus I think unless you've been out on the lakes kind of like scouting and trying to figure out where they are, it's going to be a little bit of a game trying to figure out where they are.
Oh.
Because depending on the lake that you're on, with the water temperatures, if the ice literally just went out, the water temperatures might be cold enough that these fish are still where they were in the winter.
Oh.
Meaning like from where we've learned, kind of together on this podcast, what is going on in ice fishing.
Right.
They might be over these deep water basins still, depending on some of the fish. Some of them might have moved up into their pre-spawn locations, getting ready to move up into spawn.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking like crappies and stuff.
Right.
Or if you're talking walleyes and stuff, if you're on a lake that has creeks and stuff, those fish might be up in those creeks just getting down, like, and they might have no interest in food. You might throw a bait in front of there, and they're just like, can you not see that I got a bitch in my hood,
right?
In my crib right now? I have made a bed, and this lady was nice enough to come and spend a little time in this bed I have created. How dare you come and throw your fake lure up in here? Get out of here, dude.
Just swat it away instead of biting it.
Just tail whip that shit like you're Pokemon and get going,
Go, get on it.
But, all right. Obviously, I'm being silly, but for real, they're up in there spawning, and they are not interested in eating when they're spawning for the most part. They are tight-lipped and they do not want to bite when they're spawning, because that's not the mission.
Right.
The mission is not to eat. The mission is to procreate.
Right.
So it might be tough. And when they're done, then they do get hungry.
Right. Okay.
Yep. They're just like, they can't have a cigarette, so they're like, I need a snack.
Yeah, they go get a sandwich.
Done.
Everybody knows that.
I get a sandwich, I can't. We just got to get a sandwich. This isn't SpongeBob. There are no fires under the water here. We need to eat. That's our vice. But there's, they might be up in those creeks and stuff, completely away from everybody.
Yeah.
And you might not be able to do anything about it. Or they might be swimming out of those creeks, and then you can just post up in the opening and wait for them to swim out. Like, your literally best bet, instead of chasing them, might be to just anchor and wait for them to swim past you.
Oh, weird.
So
to think about.
It's
because it's trolling, right? Because that's what you think about when you think about walleye. I mean, so many people are just like, gotta go
trolling or so I'll give you an example. One year we went up to Lake Winnebagosh and we were fishing, and it was a lot like how Chaminade is now. The ice out happened literally the week we went up there.
Yeah.
So it was like the week of fishing openers when the ice out happened. That was like 2013, maybe 10 years ago. Does that sound right? Probably.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
I like it though.
Anyways,
it's just, that's context, right? Like, you just try to give a little more context. I get it. That's why I was waiting.
I'm just trying to think back when like my mom's cousins owned a resort up there, and then like me and my wife, put it all together, my uncle and everything, like we all went up there, and I was like, when did that happen? I'm like, damn, was that 10 years ago already? Shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we went up there, and just like what I was saying, all these people were posted up at the opening of this like river or creek. I don't know what it even was.
A body of
called.
water flowing into the lake.
Exactly. So they were all sitting there, and these people were out there catching monsters, absolute tanks. Everybody was coming back to the campfire after a day of fishing. I shouldn't say everybody. The majority of people were coming back with stories to tell of how they just caught the fish of a lifetime. And I wanted to be that guy. I think I've made reference to this on the podcast before. I wanted to be that guy. And instead we were driving and we were trolling jigs, just kind of like long lining it and jigging like you would fish a jig.
Okay.
But we were just kind of trolling, slowly just pulling our baits along the top of a break. So like we're at the top of this platform, and then it breaks and it goes down because all the fish were up shallow.
Yep.
And we're the ones catching all the eater fish.
Yep.
So the majority of the females are coming out from spawning, and it seems like a number of males already did their thing, or for whatever reason, they're like out in the main part of the lake and we're catching them. So it's like there are fish in different locations. Who knows what the reason is, why they're there, why those are there.
Right.
But we were the people catching the eaters.
Yep.
And then when we went back to the camp that night, like we were jealous of each other. They were all like, oh, I really wanted to have a fish fry. And I'm like, I would give up all of this fish to have one of your trophies. So it's one of those things where it's like, who knows exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
because
And
the
in the
water
way that it
temperatures
turned
can.
too this year, right? Like it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know that you can remember the
Well,
pattern
because it
10 years
happened.
ago, but
Yeah, and because it happened so fast, I'm like, is the water?
right.
Because water temperature plays a huge role in it. Is like
Yeah,
the water going to
sure.
be warm by next weekend? Is the walleye spawn going to be completely over and the crappie spawn are going to be moved up, ready to go? Because
Right.
we have that too. If you go and look at our YouTube videos, that one video we did live
Right.
where I'm out fishing,
Yeah.
I went out literally a week too early.
Right.
None of the crappie had really moved up.
Yep.
That next week, I went out and killed them.
Right.
But the week before that, that's the other video we have up.
Yeah, I was gonna say though. I
That's a
think those
week
are the
apart.
two the two
Yeah,
well edited fishing. Well, I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I mean,
right.
one wasn't edited, one was a live video, but it
Yeah,
was well
yeah.
produced.
So you have the live video where there's no fish. The week after that, I'm out there slaying crappies, and the only reason I didn't catch my limit is because I ran out of minnows. It's like,
Yeah.
so that week made a big difference, and the ice was out plenty before we filmed those videos.
Right.
So now being just a week out, fishing opener being 2 weeks out, it's like, who knows what's going to be happening,
Yeah.
And I saw that you put the moon phases in there. The moon phases
Yeah, I did.
shouldn't affect the spawning at all, but it may affect their aggressiveness.
Ah.
And the crazy part is,
Mm-hmm.
if you're out there fishing, you can't legally fish for muskies on opener. Muskies are 2 weeks later.
Okay.
Normally like Memorial Day weekend, or actually it might be a full month later.
Yeah, I didn't look up muskies, but I know it's northern and walleye.
Yeah,
because that's the big deal here in Minnesota. When we're talking about opener in Minnesota, again, it's northern and walleye that are the big one. Like they're the same day.
Yeah,
it's opener weekend.
Yep.
We call it.
Yep. And we've said it many times here. Always check your regulations and stuff.
Right.
But if I'm not mistaken, it should be walleye and northern you can keep next weekend. And then actually when this podcast comes out, it'll be this weekend.
Right.
If you're listening to it currently, you can keep walleye and pike this weekend.
Yeah.
This coming weekend, yes.
Yeah, because opener's on the 13th.
And then, yep. And you can target bass. You can fish for them, but it's catch and release only.
Yep.
Depending on the body of water, again, pay attention to that because there's certain areas where they're just like, some of the rivers have different stipulations,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the lakes down south you can start fishing earlier, I think.
Yeah.
But some of it doesn't. I check your regulations. I don't want to get into the weeds because I don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but I know there are some dates that fluctuate depending on where in the state you are.
Yeah.
And then, so to recap, because I got crazy there.
Yeah, good idea.
Northern and pike, you can keep this coming weekend. Bass, you can target. 2 weeks from now on Memorial Day, you can keep bass. And then 2 weeks after that is when you can fish for muskies, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think at one point in time, I think bass and muskie were on the same schedule, and I think they changed that.
So
unless it's just 1 week after. Yeah, unless it's just 1 week after bass is when muskie opens, but I know muskie is later than bass.
Muskie is later than all. Yep. Okay.
Yep. So,
yeah.
Anyways.
So, yeah, let me ask so you said the thing about the down south, right? And they've had different weather. We talked about how they have shallower lakes down there. So they've been, my understanding, I didn't drive down south and find out, is that they've been open for a little while. Like their ice out
for sure.
was somewhat average, obviously not totally average, because again, a month ago it was snowing, it was cold, and we were literally asking ourselves if we were going to have anything to, like, I think we were, I didn't go back and listen to it, but I think we were optimistic enough to say like anything in the southern part of the state is going to be open at least, but that's not where people go fishing for walleye, right? Everybody goes to those northern destination lakes to fish their walleye. And we were just like, oh my God, it's going to impact fucking tourism and like all this other stuff. So there's obviously a spread of when the water's open or when the water is opening, right? Because of the temperature swings. And because we had those like 2 days of 90, it was like 2 days of 90 and then it got cold again. It actually started freezing overnight again. And now we're finally getting into like the 70s. And I think the winds, because we had a lot of high winds, right? That had to help open up these waters. So where I'm going with all this is, okay, so it's 70s down here in the southern part of the state where I live.
Yeah.
But that doesn't translate up north still. They're still getting pretty cold. So yes, now we have that really heavy, longer days, heavier sun. You can really feel the sun when you go outside.
For sure.
What?
I think you can kind of see it a little bit on me.
Yeah. Now that you do that, now that you point it out.
Still wearing my shades a little bit.
So where I was going with all that, like my end goal of bringing that up was because the ice just came out and we had those ups and downs again in the, leading into it, where like there could have been refreezing even after we had some hot stuff.
Yeah.
That has to be messing the fish up like that. I feel like what you described before, where, the ice was 1 week out from your experience where you went up to the resort and everything. I forget what lake it was already. You just said it a few minutes ago. Winnebagosh. Yeah.
Yep.
Winnebago. It's a video game reference for all you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. What I'm saying is this, like, it's been so up and down. The winter was so hard. I think opener is going to be tough. Like, I think this weekend coming up here is just going to be be tough. I'm really looking forward to this, to some stories here.
Yep. I definitely think that it could be tough, but you could also figure them out. It's like, it's the game we play.
Yeah, for sure. That is the game of fishing, right?
That's what makes it exciting. You don't know what you're going to get into, and depending on the lake, depending on your water clarity, there's a lot of different factors. Dark water can heat up faster. If you got a couple of dark bottom bays, that sun heats up quick. Mm-hmm. It could be a good, like 5 to 10 degrees warmer in a dark bottom bay that's protected than it is the rest of the lake.
Even getting these 60s, like high 60s and 70s and stuff like that. You get what? How much sun do we get now? We get something like
a lot.
12. It's like 12 hours almost of sunlight already. I think it's maybe not quite that high, but
I think it's more.
You think it's more?
Maybe not a full 12.
Actually, yeah.
I think it's more. I think the sun is rising.
Yeah, and you can
around 7, before 7, and I don't think it sets until like 8 o'clock.
I'm gonna check right now. Well,
I think we're more than 12 hours currently.
Huh?
I'm saying I think it's more than 12 hours currently. So if you get, the majority of your day is sunny, and then you also have,
dude, it is.
Yeah,
because we're still every day is longer now, right? Until June.
Yep.
And today, this weekend, the week leading up to, we have from basically 6 o'clock until 8:30 at night, 6 a.m.
Damn, it's
until
8:30
at night. That's 6 o'clock is sunrise. It's prior to 6 o'clock. Actually, it's before 6, but I'm rounding to make it easy. So sun's up before
14
by 6
and a half hours,
and it's down around 8:30.
14 and a half hours of sunlight can mess up that ice pretty quick.
Right. But the weather was so shitty that we weren't even getting good sun. And that was what,
I know, always cloudy, because we kept having, it was like rain or snow constantly still too. So it was that, like, it was constant overcast And then plus going back down to freezing, I think they said that first week in April was like the coldest first week of April on record.
Oh, really?
Like not the coldest one temperature, but like as a whole,
Yeah.
you know? So into April, it's still crazy to be like, why is it so damn cold? This is nuts. You know,
Yeah,
like my son's birthday was at the end of the month and it was like, whew, finally getting some nice weather. And I think it was only like 55 out.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was talking to my wife saying, like, haven't we had, can't you remember every other year that there was like one freak day of like 60s at least in March?
Right.
And we like, I don't think we even hit 50. It was like, what the hell is going on?
We had those 2 freak days where we almost hit 90, and every other day was like below normal. Every other day was below average, which is why we were so pessimistic on the last podcast.
Yeah. And because we were like, oh, 90 degrees. Was that in March still, or was that April?
No, that was April. That was
April.
It was 3 weeks ago, basically. It was in between podcasts.
2 freak days. Yeah, that's right. Those were weird as hell.
They were super weird.
Where everybody, it's just like, this is state. What the hell? We just skipped spring. It's winter and now it's summer.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, back to winter again. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, because it froze again after those. Like it literally got.
We got like another.
My wife had pulled out the plants. Yeah.
It was like, what is happening?
It was fucking so wild. And that was where, that's where I was going with all this. It's like, there's just been that tied all back to how I kicked that off is there so much up and down. I think it's really going to be a hunting game out there. I'm not going to be able to get out. Are you going to be able to get out?
Hopefully going up.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning.
As we record this.
When the podcast comes out, hopefully we already have all the, docs and stuff, but tomorrow going up as far as we record this to my parents have like this aerator system thing that's supposed to like keep the ice a little bit thinner closer to shore so it doesn't like destroy the shoreline so much when the ice starts moving. So we got to go up there and take out that. It's like a series of like pipes and hoses and stuff that just keeps the water moving around the shore. Got to get all that out, and then once that's out, we put the docks in. So as long as all that goes over smoothly, the boat should be in and ready to go next weekend.
For the next, my dad's retired. For opener weekend.
Yep. So as long as the boat and everything is in, like my dad's retired now, he doesn't work. He should just be able to like go up there. My mom works from home, you know. Tell her to just be like, my internet's not working. And like, I don't know.
Yep, for sure.
But they should be able to get the boat in as long as we have, you know, the lift in so they can put the boat on.
Right.
Should be good. The only thing that might stop us is if they can't get the water and stuff on. The water. But even still,
you mean in the cabin?
Like for the cabin. Yeah, like if for some reason there's an issue where they can't get the water on, then we won't be able to stay up there.
Right. But you still might be able to fish for the day, and then
I will go fishing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. If even I got to go to the river, there's no way I won't. I can't not.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It has to happen.
Right. Yeah. So, I love to hear that. You have to be itching after that, because that's what we called it fishing limbo, because we were so stuck. Like we felt that the winter was too strong, and we didn't even bat an eye at the fact that we didn't get out ice fishing. We were just like, it was so weird. No. It was so cold. The ice wasn't forming right. And then it did. And it was so cold. That's how it did it. It was so wild. I remember us, in the last one again, we were like, we didn't get ice fishing because we don't have a permanent. We don't have a sled. We don't have a ATV. We didn't
even people with permanents didn't get out this year because the weather sucked so much. Nobody put their permanents out there. I drove by so many lakes, and you just never, like, most of the time you drive by and there's like some certain lakes have like a small city, and you just didn't see it this year. It was a weird year.
Yeah, it was.
The ice was shitty straight out the gate because we got so much snow before it froze, and then it was like it wasn't letting it freeze properly. So there was a lot of reasons that people didn't make it out there. And I haven't been fishing since last fall.
Right.
And it's If I didn't have
at
Pokemon, I would be going insane right now. But I got something else that's just like, hey, if I can't go fishing, I got terror raids. You know,
I can catch some stuff still.
I got raids to do.
Yeah.
They got special events. I got breeding to do, shiny hunting, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which, dude, by the way, we talked about the AAA video gaming last week. Did
Yep.
I tell you how weird the breeding is in that game?
Oh, I can't. Yes, you did. Yes.
Yes,
Making
I think
sandwiches
I
and
might have
picnics
told
and
you
shit.
off there. You make picnics, and then you're just like, you
Yeah.
guys, I'm gonna make a sandwich. You guys go breed some eggs over there while I have a tasty peanut butter sandwich.
Yep.
Like, just a weird story. Anyways, sorry. Side note.
It's okay. That was funny.
Yes. What were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about
fishing.
you getting out. So you're getting out, and
Yes.
So you mentioned the moon phases really quick, and that is where I want to kind of go that direction again, because briefly you said you're like, I don't think it's going to do too much. So it's full moon the weekend before opener, and the ice has just broke, right? Like, we'll just say in the northern lakes, the ice has just broke the same week of the full moon, and then we're going to be half moon, so it's last quarter, so it's like it's 50-50 basically on opener. What do you think? Is that going to have any effect on it? Is that going to, are they going to move different, do you think? Or I don't fully understand the moon phases either and how they work, but
I think half
caught it.
I think half moon is kind of shitty. If I remember correctly, like, doesn't really have much role in the stuff, but also when you're moon, there's more to it than just the actual phases. It's also when your lunar and solar timings line up, those can kind of like amplify stuff even when it's not great. So it might not be like a full moon, but if your sunrise and moonrise happen to be at the same time, that kind of amplifies it a little bit. Your sunset, moonset at the same time, moon overhead, moon underfoot. There's all these different things where basically like the moon's on the opposite side of the earth is underfoot. Moon overhead is directly above you. Noon and moon overhead lining up can be pretty decent, like afternoon fishing. So there's different factors and stuff like that lining up. So I wouldn't worry about the moon phases too much. It's just like the moon phases can help you learn like when peak windows can be. Where they might actually be going crazy. Right. Because like an example that I have of that is one time I was fishing on the Mississippi River, and I fished there's a spot where I know where there's a bunch of riprap, and riprap is just like a bunch of rocks that they put in. It's just kind of like a man-made
whitewater
structure.
Is it?
Well, not like whitewater. It's like the shoreline is like covered in rocks. So it goes from rocks on the shore.
Gotcha. And
then like down, it's almost to like stop the water from eroding away the actual shoreline.
Oh yeah,
because the rocks aren't gonna,
Yep, it'll wear.
Eventually, they'll get eroded down, but the
rocks
will. Yeah, exactly. So that riprap holds, makes a good home for crayfish and bait fish and stuff. So there's always fish there because there's always food.
Right.
I've gone to that place 1,000 times. One time the lunar and the solar lined up, and I no joke caught a fish every single cast for like 20 casts straight. It was insane. Where I'm like looking around to like, is anybody else seeing this shit? This is nuts. This is crazy. Every cast, I just go like, nobody else is around though. I'm just talking to myself like, watch this. Another one. See it? Nope, nobody. This is incredible.
And 2 weeks later, we decided Real AF TV needs to be a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, and I've fished that spot many times. I've never had that duplicated, and it's because I've never been out there in that exact perfect moon phase where like for whatever reason it was like that just the stars aligned.
Yeah.
The fish were aggressive and ready to eat, and they weren't picky. Sometimes smallies can be moody.
Yep.
Where some of them are like turned on, some of them aren't.
Uh-huh.
And you can't really predict it. And that day, every single one of them was ready to smash anything that came past them.
Is that what you're pulling out? Were smallmouths?
Yes, smallmouth, every cast.
Or every cast. Oh,
every single one. It was nothing but smallmouth. Yep. Yeah.
It was nuts. Fun, dude.
Oh, it was so fun. Yeah, some of them were little, and it's just like, that's a little guy, but still counted. And then you cast, and then you catch another bigger. That's a little bit better. And then you cast, this one's a little bit smaller again. And then you go, oh, that one made up for the last two that were small. Here's a big guy. You know, it was awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Doing that 20 times in a row. Eventually, you're just like, I don't even know. When do I stop? When do I stop? It's like if I go like 5 casts past and I don't catch anything, eventually it's gonna be like, I knew I should have stopped at 20. It was a hell of a day, 20 fish in a row. Now I'm catching nothing. Oh, damn it.
Should have quit. I was ahead.
Yeah, so sometimes the moon phases can make everything great.
Mm-hmm.
Other times it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I've been out fishing where they were just like, oh, according to the moon phases, it's going to be a shitty day. And you do fine.
You do fine.
You catch plenty of fish. Yep. And especially when you're talking spawning and stuff. When you go out on the crappie spawn and you're looking for those crappie, like, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? You know, if the crappie, whatever lake you're in, if the crappie are moving up to spawn, just go based off of what those fish are doing and where they're moving and get in front of them and know that the water's cold. So don't try to fish super fast for the most part.
Yeah.
And don't worry about the moon so much right now. It plays a big role certain times, but there's a lot of other factors that I think are far more important right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to ask.
Yeah, don't worry about the moon phase and trying to hit the moon phase. Like, hit the crappies while they're spawning. You don't have a big window for doing that.
Yeah.
If those walleyes are moving out of that creek and you want to sit in that opening, don't be like, oh, tomorrow looks like a better day, because you might miss your chance to have them all swimming out of the river, you know?
Right.
Whatever your lake is doing, whatever you think you can catch them on, you know, or if you know where the fish are and where they're moving to, do what you can when they're doing that, and don't focus on some of the little shit, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's more, I think, later on when the patterns are established.
Uh-huh.
And you know you can go out and catch them, like, this is where they are, this is what you can do.
Oh.
You might have a better luck if you hit that certain window to do that thing.
Right.
But right now it's more really just trying to find the fish, figure out where they are.
Right.
Is step one.
Yeah.
Because like we said at the beginning of this, with it super cold.
Yeah.
In certain lakes, who knows? Maybe they're out deep still.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the fish should be moving shallow. Some of them might be setting up to spawn. Some of them haven't got there yet. They might be in the pre-spawn. It's all about figuring out where the fish are.
Yeah.
Focus on that. Everything else is...
Yeah. And I'm guessing, so that's your strategy coming up for opener. That, I mean, that's your advice, is like, right now, because of the crazy weather, because of the late ice out, because of all these factors are much more important. Like, focus on that and just cover some water. Go where you think they are. Like,
I'm going.
If you have ice fishing knowledge, use that.
Yeah. My tip to you, because I know, depending, obviously, I don't know what you can learn a lot being on your lake, knowing the temperature. If it's colder than what you like, the crappie should be spawning at, go shallow for walleye, you know, because they're probably shallow for walleye.
Mm-hmm.
If the water temperature is hitting the areas where the crappie should be spawning, go check out some stuff shallow for spawning. But I think I would start shallow, just see what's up there.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any luck. And if you're not seeing anything, depending on what you have the ability of doing, you know, if you have electronics that you can scope out what's going on shallow and you're not seeing anything, you're not catching anything, then go deep. I wouldn't start deep and then move my way shallow. I think for the most part, the fish should be shallow. So I would start there. And if I don't have any luck, then I'd be like, oh, are they deep? Is that where they are?
Yeah.
I got to go out to find them or
right.
what? But that's my goal. That's my plan because I know where the fish are or where they have been because I know this lake pretty well.
Right.
I will be going shallow for walleye and crappie. If the crappie aren't shallow, then I go for walleye. And if the walleye aren't shallow, then I move deep and see if I can find them.
Sure. Yeah.
That's my plan.
That's good plan. Good advice as far as I'm concerned. I know, take that for what it is, but you have a plan, and that's half the battle when it comes out to this. I mean, I think you say it all the time. We say it all the time. We built this podcast on the know what you're doing, research, right? That's what we're trying to do, is just spread the word of if you're new to this, or even if you're not new to this, get some new ideas, or come share the ideas. What the hell? Sure. Go over to YouTube and leave a comment and have a conversation with us. It's one of those situations where everybody, it sounds like, is going to be moving, learning, and needing to cover. And, we're those people that say share that info. Exactly, everybody will have more fun.
It's like cover some. It comes down to cover some water. Unless you think the fish are covering water, then you stand still.
Ah.
Oh, I feel wise. I also had a little bit to drink. So I'm like, oh, look at this. Confucius say, you move unless the fish move, then you stay still.
That's really good. I think.
But I think it's decent. But if anybody else, like Josh said, if you have any difference of opinion or whatever, this is what fishing is. We're always learning.
Yeah.
We're always evolving.
Adapting.
There's different patterns.
Mm-hmm.
I can be right and you can say something completely different and you can be right as well.
Sure. Yep.
Or we can both be wrong.
Yeah.
That's why there's a sport of people going out to try to who can figure out this lake faster.
Right.
And put enough fish in the lake or boat. Not even faster, but do it consecutively over a number of days, because things can change from day to day.
Yeah.
Can you figure out what changed from the day before? Where did they go? Why aren't they biting?
Yeah.
Or if you didn't do good the first day, how do I, fix it? It's all.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to reach out.
Yeah.
We're always excited to hear what other people's takes are.
Yeah.
And get a different perspective
for sure
on what you're doing this time of year. Cause maybe it's just a little part. Maybe we do the exact same thing, but there's a very small tweak that you make that makes all the difference.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. And
so
the, oh no, I lost it.
Oh no.
Oh man, I'm just gonna have to let it go because no. Uh-oh. I got it. Good thing I wrote that down.
Here we go.
So I got it back. So like you said, the little techniques, the little shifts and stuff like that. Does that Z-Man that you brought up before? Does that topic play into that?
Z-Man. Oh, I'm gonna go into
you just did the Macho Man.
Z-Man is again just the cream of the crop. But the Z-Man. Oh yeah, Z-Man got into the micros. You know what I'm saying? Bean Gene. It's
he always only talked to Gene. I feel like.
Mean Gene. Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. But so the Z-Man got into the micro game, so it's like smaller crappie baits and stuff.
Okay.
And I like the scent that Z-Man uses. Everybody's got their own little different scent and stuff.
Sure.
But the big part,
yeah,
Z-Man has their Elastec baits that are remarkably durable. They're super stretchy. and they can get hit like over and over and over again, and they last forever. So the exciting part about this, because some of the other baits that I've used have not been as durable.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what it was that made me not think of this before with other ones. But this one, I was like, the crappies are spawning. They're in the reeds, just kind of like posted up there. And if you put a minnow in their face, eventually they'll eat it. What if I use these new Z-Man micro baits as a drop shot, which is normally what you use for like bass and stuff.
Okay.
And you can get away with using it for walleye and stuff as well, but it originated as like a bass bait. What if I do a drop shot with a micro bait for crappies? And I was just like, if this works, oh man. So I'm very excited to try the micro Z-Man baits on a drop shot for crappies.
And you're going to do that on opener? Like you already got the plan in place and it's part of your plan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very excited. The only problem I could see is that a lot of the spots that I fish for spawning crappies have like downed dead reeds from the year before.
Yeah.
And a drop shot is a weight that goes to the bottom, and then the line comes up to a hook. And then from that hook, the line goes to your rod. So you're letting the weight sit on the bottom, and then you're just kind of bouncing that bait. You know, if you have like a foot of line, you're just kind of bouncing this bait here, and the hook sits on the bottom. Well, if that weight, did I say hook sits on the bottom? If the weight sits on the bottom, that weight might fall between those reeds and make it hard to kind of like, you know, do a little jig and then move it to the next spot. But as long as I use a smaller weight and it comes through those reeds properly without getting hung up and scaring away the fish every time I have to rip free of the reeds.
Right.
It should, in theory, in my head, this is going to be a good day.
Yeah.
But
I hope so.
It's always just in theory. You get an idea and you're just like, oh man. And then, you know, sometimes you get out there and you're just like, oh, I didn't even think about that shit. Yeah, no, this is never going to work. But in my head, it's working pretty good. Yeah. So we'll see what reality holds. But yeah, I'm pretty excited that just the idea of it too. They have some like swim paddle tails and Ned rigs. So they have micro Ned rigs. From the last episode, I still have a Ned jig here.
Oh,
so Ned jig is like that.
This
jig
was one of them that we had to go over
this
pretty quickly because of the fact that like we got long on that topic, and then like jigs are going to be its own little cut. So yeah, okay, it's
exactly
like a flat football head with a flat top.
Yeah, it was kind of just kind of like a flat, almost like a nail head.
Oh, okay.
You know, or like oh damn it, now I forget. It doesn't matter. There's a screw name where it has like a rounded off head. And I can't remember the name of that screw right now. Okay. But it sits like that. Well, they make micro versions of this now.
Okay.
Little tiny jig head, little tiny hook with a little tiny bait. You can micro fish a Ned rig.
Yeah.
So that one will not work in the reeds. That will for sure. You can't put a hook down
because you can't put that hook right in those reeds.
Yeah. But those micro baits putting on that Ned rig, going and fishing for perch and stuff in the summer when you're out in kind of like the open water where you're not dealing with all those weeds and stuff. That should be a dynamite bait. They have little tiny paddle tails, so it's like a little, I mean, it's a swim bait that's like an inch long.
Jeez.
Yeah.
How do you even make it so awesome. How it can swim? Like, how can it be that small and still have movement?
So that's one of the other things is like they have some of the other small ones that I've used are like relatively stiff and the tails don't swim that well.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would expect.
Like super stretchy, super flimsy. It really moves and it stretches like crazy, dude. Like they're super hard to rip.
So cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
Z-Man is like the company that I wanted to make this stuff because I know their durability. That's some of the other stuff where the sunfish will come and grab the tail and just like and then your tail's gone.
Yeah.
That is not going to happen with the Z-Man.
Nice.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, dude.
So
you're already ready to go? Like you got it all in the box ready to go for the weekend?
Yep. Yeah, we've been talking. Me and you were talking a little bit about possibly doing a little bit of a segment if I can get together the dates and figure out stuff beforehand. But talking a little bit about sales and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Shields this last week had a sale on like all Z-Man, all Berkeley, and I'm just like, I'm going to buy all the new Berkeley and Z-Man stuff then. I went and got all of it.
Just got a cart.
Yep, just slapping it off. Walking around telling my wife, like, look for this. Like, this is a weird setup. I don't know what's going. Like,
I don't know. But you gotta get
I'm
it.
just like, I'm looking for Berkeley. She's like, there's Berkeley right here. I'm like, there's Berkeley everywhere. Here's the thing. We need to find this Berkeley, because it's just like, you're going to find Berkeley in the crankbait aisle. You're going to find Berkeley in the soft bait aisle. You're going to find Berkeley in the jigs, the bass, the whatever. Right. They're in every aisle.
They're everywhere.
They don't have it sectioned off by manufacturer. They have it sectioned off by like whatever. Type, I don't really know.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out.
Plus, it's like some of this stuff where it's new and popular, it's on end caps. So like, you look around,
Oh, right. Yeah. Of course.
The end cap. So it makes it a little bit hard finding what you want. But we pulled it off and got all the new things that I wanted.
Nice.
At a 20% discount. Not crazy discount. But
that's enough.
I don't like paying full price for anything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's enough. I just bought something on 10% discount today. And I was like, well, that's kind of worthless. That didn't even cover shipping and tax. Oh, fuck it. It almost covered shipping and tax.
Right.
Okay, cool.
When you calculate it out, it's like I saved 20 cents from going into the store. Hey, that's a win. It's coming straight to my house and I saved 20 cents.
Yeah. Okay. That was it for me on that. I wanted to talk about opener and what your plan is. And that was good. Yeah. I just can't believe the huge shift in weather. And that's why this was a weather topic, is because it's going to be called weather opener, but the shift that it took. Oh no, there was one more thing, Tim, before we wrap up and go to the random pick. You had on your goals to get out early crappie spawn.
Yeah.
Is this that because the lakes just opened? Like, how could you have gotten out earlier even?
I don't think I can. I think this weekend would have been it. And I'm thinking that next week is going to be the spawn.
Uh-huh.
And this weekend I would have tried to fish if it wasn't like I have to get the docks in to be able to go.
To be able to go for opener. Yeah. So
my parents won't be able to bring up their boat, and my boat's not ready because the snow hasn't been gone for that long. You know, that was another thing where I couldn't even access my boat until the snow was gone. Right. And that's only been a couple of weeks, and I just haven't had a chance to get everything ready because I got the new depth finder. Like I could just go out with my old stuff, everything's still hooked up, but I have to figure out how to hook up the new transducer, depth finder, and all that other good stuff. So I just haven't got around to that with everything else happening in life. My son's birthday and all that other good junk.
Right.
So
it takes time. I get it, man. I get it.
There's things that come up, and the snow that kept coming down really fucked stuff up.
Really made it difficult.
Were just like early March when we're in limbo is when I'm going to get everything done. And then we had snow on the ground, a lot of it, till like mid-April. Like, damn it. Screwed up everything.
Oh, shit. Yeah, it was unique, I'll say. Yep. All right. That's the sound of kids laughing to take us into the random take. Yeah. You ready, Tim? You ready to hit the break and take us?
I'm ready.
Talk a little patreon.com/realaftv and then get over to the random take where we're going to just talk about dad moments. It's a broad topic.
Hell yeah.
For a reason. All right. You ready for the break?
Ready.
Let's do it.
Break time.